What embarrassing thing have you done that you're actually really proud of? I cried in front of my entire high school during graduation, not just tearing up, full ugly sobbing that echoed through the gymnasium while 400 people stared at me, including half the popular kids who'd made fun of me for 4 years. It started when they called my name to receive my diploma. I was walking across the stage feeling pretty good about myself. 4 years of barely passing, but I'd made it. I'd even managed to avoid any major embarrassments during the ceremony. Then Principal Martinez did something completely unexpected. Instead of just handing me the diploma and moving on, he stopped and spoke directly into the microphone. "This young man," he said, his voice carrying across the packed gymnasium, "almost didn't graduate with you today." My stomach dropped instantly. Why was he announcing my academic struggles to everyone? I could hear confused murmurs from the crowd, probably wondering what I'd done wrong. My parents looked mortified in the front row. 3 months ago, he continued, David was failing 2 classes and had basically given up on school entirely. His teachers were ready to recommend he repeat senior year. Great. Now everyone knew I was the failure kid who almost didn't graduate. I wanted to disappear. But something changed in February when his little brother got sick. I froze completely. Nobody at school knew about Tommy except my teachers. My 8-year-old brother had been diagnosed with acute leukemia in February, and our whole family's world had turned upside down. I'd been staying up all night at Children's Hospital with him instead of doing homework, missing classes to drive Mom to appointments when Dad couldn't get off work. David started bringing his schoolwork to the Children's Hospital. Principal Martinez went on, his voice getting softer. He'd study in the waiting room during his brother's chemotherapy treatments, take makeup tests on his phone between doctor visits, and turn in assignments from the oncology ward at 2 a.m. That's when the tears started. I wasn't embarrassed about Tommy being sick. I was incredibly proud of him for fighting so hard every single day. But hearing our private struggle announced like this in front of everyone I'd gone to school with for 4 years just completely broke me open. His teachers told me they'd never seen a student work harder under such impossible circumstances, he continued. David didn't just barely pass his classes. He earned straight A's while sleeping on hospital chairs and eating vending machine sandwiches for 3 months. The whole gymnasium was dead silent now. I was crying so hard I could barely see through my tears, but I didn't care anymore about looking stupid in front of everyone. "Tommy is in remission now, thank God," Principal Martinez said, his own voice starting to crack with emotion. "And his big brother is graduating with honors despite everything they've been through together as a family." The crowd absolutely erupted. Not just polite graduation applause, people were jumping to their feet, cheering, some crying themselves. I looked down into the audience and saw my parents sobbing in the front row, holding Tommy, who was wearing his favorite Superman cape over his hospital pajamas and waving at me with the biggest smile. Principal Martinez handed me my diploma with shaking hands and pulled me into a tight hug. "Your brother's recovery isn't the only miracle in your family," he whispered in my ear. I walked off that stage bawling like a complete baby, snot running down my face, but I didn't feel embarrassed anymore. I felt proud of Tommy for beating cancer like the superhero he was, of myself for not giving up when everything felt impossible, and of the family that kept us all fighting together. 3 years later, Tommy is still cancer-free and healthy, and he tells everyone he meets that his big brother cried at graduation because he was so happy. Sometimes the most embarrassing moments show people who you really are.